It's our birthday book haul! Woohoo! Hi everyone, it's Jenny. Welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are you all doing? Hope you're all alive and thriving, or at least, you know, living your life. I have got a belated birthday book haul because it was last month, which feels like an eternity ago, and I'm very excited about this pile. They are all by women. That was not intentional, I promise, but it just happened and I'm really not mad about it. So, first book is probably the prettiest cover. Oh, I've wanted this book for so long just so I can look at it. Isn't it beautiful? And the end papers. Oh, you know I'm a sucker for good end papers. So anyway, this is Bluet by Maggie Nelson, which is, I think, 240 kind of musing on the colour bloom, why she likes it and what it makes her feel and think about. And I love a list. I've never read Maggie Nelson before. This has come highly recommended by many people, including Simon Savage, so I'm very excited, and it's short. Most of these books, that's the thing, are short, or at least not longer than average length, I think, bar one, so that's also quite nice, because I think everyone is struggles with attention span right now. So that one, off to a cracking start, I do say so myself. And then we have Crooked Heart by Lisa Evans, which is historical fiction, and it is the book that she originally wrote, but it's actually a sequel to Old Baggage, which Old Baggage was set in 1928, this is set in 1940 something? Yes, it must be 1940 because it talks about the Blitz here. And the characters aren't the same necessarily, but there's a slight overlap. So while the protagonist of Old Baggage, Matty, isn't really in this, which is sad because I loved Matty. I'm sure I'll still enjoy it if it's the same writing style. And the sequel to this, View for Victory, is out in August, and I really want to be ready for it because I just found it so enjoyable reading Old Baggage, and I think if it's the same sort of tone in this book, then it's exactly what I want. But it's different because it follows a child. It follows Noel Bostock, who is 10, and it's about him being evacuated. And a kind of business that sounds a little bit dodgy that he sets up with the person that he is living with. So I don't know much else about it apart from that, but I'm just sold because of the author. I really hope this doesn't let me down to Old Baggage. Then a book that I thought this was fiction. This is not. This is an autobiography, the first in the Copenhagen Trilogy, by Tove Ditlevsen. That's probably not how you say her name. This is childhood. I think the other two parts called Youth and then Dependency. I like how the third part is not what you think it's going to be called at all. I love these covers. They all have a different monochrome photograph, such a mood. And they're really short. This is only 99 pages, and it's just, obviously at this point, her growing up as a child, but she had quite a sad life. She had depression and addiction to, I think, alcohol and drugs. There was a bit in the flap about it. Yeah, she was addicted to alcohol and drugs and went to a psychiatric hospital several times. So, you know, a bit of a tortured soul, sadly. But I have never read, to my knowledge, anything by a Danish author that's modern. But yeah, I'm excited about this. And also, I think it's maybe that kind of book I can read in one sitting because it's so short. And I'm really, really excited. It looks like there's like bits of poetry in here. And oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. And then a book that I'm really sad because it arrived with Big Crease in the back, and I know that really doesn't matter considering what's going on in the world, but it just makes me sad, okay. This is Bodies of Light by Sarah Moss. With these creepy Victorian children on the front, look at that. Nice. And it follows sisters Ali and May, who are growing up in Victorian Manchester, and I thought that's fun because normally everything Victorian is set in London, and I love London. Victorian London is fascinating, but also there was so much going on in the north. That was the industrial heart, actually, of the Victorian nation, and it sounds like it. I think it's tied to the Pre-Raphaelites in some way because their father has a collection and that kind of thing, and one of the sisters models for artists and that kind of thing, and the others trying to learn to be a female doctor, and then some kind of tragedy ensues and sets them off course, I think, in some way. But I loved Ghost Wall, I've loved It's Hard as If. I've never read any historical fiction before, so this will be just fun. And I mean, it's historical Victorian novel with like Pre-Raphaelite or some kind of Victorian art in it. That is my jam. That's like a perfect book. And if it's anything as well written like the other two books I've read by her, then I'm gonna love this. I think it's like part of a series. I think there's another book that they're not like directly linked. I think you can read them on their own, but I've heard this is the better one. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know, but that's the one I've got, so I hope it's good. And then very different. This is a book that I was partly drawn to because of the cover once again, but this is The Museum of Modern Love by Heather Rose, and it is about Archie Levin, whose wife is dying in hospital, and he's made a promise to her that he won't visit her in hospital, but he's drawn to this museum where he sees the performing artist Maria Abramovich and her exhibition, where I think it was a real thing where you could go and sit opposite her and you couldn't say anything, but you could sit for as long as you wanted and then move on. And I think it was about like connection in the space and that sort of thing, and it's about the people that he meets there and the things that he learns through that and what he has to let go of in his life and what he has to do in his life, and I just thought it sounded like a really interesting concept. So yeah, and also look at the spine, how funky, love that. Then a modern classic, this is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, which is the only long book I've got on this. Oh my gosh, it's small print, fantastic. But I'm sure it'll be great. It is obviously set in Brooklyn. I think it starts in 1919, I want to say. Yeah, or at least it covers that point, but it's about the Nolan family, and I love family sagas and dramas, if that's my jam. Again, the Irish in me, I guess. And I haven't heard any of the books by Becky Smith off the top of my head, but this is just such a well-respected American classic. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy it, and it's gonna go on my longest TBR books because it's over 450 pages, so that'll have to be updated. Oh, I realised there's like 4 books on my shelves I didn't put on that list because I just can't count, or I'm not observant or something about books on my list, and it was not an accurate video, so that's annoying, but never mind. Then non-fiction. This is Constellations, Reflections from Life by Sinead Gleeson, because Irish writers, we love to see it. I got to say the hardback was way pretty, but it was like £5 more than paperback, so I just could not justify it to myself. But this is still fine. And it's just her talking about her body, and through looking at her body and its failings, and talking about like grief and motherhood and love and loss and all these things, like just like the human experience, I suppose, and in a relatable but very personal, intimate way, because it's looking at her own medical history in some ways. I've again heard about this from Simon Savage, I think, and it just sounds great and really different as well. It sort of reminded me of I Am by Maggie O'Farrell. It gives me a slightly similar vibe, but maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, I haven't read it yet. And then a book that's very overdue in getting, that's been on my wish list for so long, literally years. This is The Beginning of the World, The Middle of the Night by Jen Campbell, which I probably won't need to introduce, because if you don't follow Jen Campbell on Booktube, like, who are you? And it's a short story collection, and she's very into fairy tales and twisted fairy tales, but also does a lot about disability because of her own experience of living with disabilities, and I just think she's amazing, and her poetry collection was amazing, and even though this is a very different medium, that really gives me a lot of hope. We're going to love this too, and it's so pretty, it's just so pretty. I mean, even the back, oh, it's so pretty. I love it. And then last but not least, this is a book that I got recommended in a bookshop ages ago, and I finally got it at Truth from Our Shelf, and it is Women Who Read Are Dangerous, and it is really an art book, which is probably now one of the most beautiful books that I own. I mean, look, the end papers are paintings. Look at that. Saucy. But it is looking through different pieces of art and different artists, what each piece of art says about the attitude towards women and reading and literature in general, and I just think it'd be beautiful and fascinating, and I just can't wait to read it. And also there's not that much reading, it's like, it's got pictures, so that's pretty. Yay, we like pictures in books. I really believe every book should have pictures in, pretty much. I think it would enhance the reading experience 1,000,000%. But anyway, I've definitely made that much longer than that needed to be, but that's me, so you know. I hope that you are reading great books right now. Let me know if you have read any of these books, or if any of these books interest you, or which book I should read first out of this pile. To be honest, because I'm a basic bitch, probably going to read childhood because it's the shortest one that's probably going to win first, but we'll see. But I'm very, very excited to find space for all of these somewhere on my shelves. That'll be interesting. But I will see you soon. More bookish shenanigans. Bye!